Hi, good morning. It has been a little bit since I've been on here. Give me 1 second. So it has been a little bit since I've been on here. Just trying to was trying to process what my next topic would be, but for me, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about this subject. So before I get into today's topic, um, I hope that everything is going well in your life and that you're doing things that bring you some peace and joy because life is hectic and heavy as it is. Every day, find time, at least 30 minutes, to give yourself some peace and some serenity. And I know it's hard with the busy of life, but you owe it to yourself. Don't forget to follow me and share this broadcast. You can follow me on here or BYC Become Your C, Facebook, Instagram Become Your C, TikTok BYC Become Your C, YouTube BYC Become Your C, or you can follow me on my website www.becomeyourc.com. I talk about holistic approach to mental health. I have items for sale that aid you on your journey. I want people to become the best version of themselves, and through healing our wounds, through healing our mental health, through healing our soul, we can find out who we are truly meant to be, as long as we do the work behind it. And I just want to, before I start talking about today's topic, no matter where you are right now in your life, it seems like things go like a roller coaster. It'll be up and then it'll come down. And I've been listening to a lot of gospel music lately, and one thing always points out is that there's never more given to those who don't have the shoulders to bear it. And I know it's hectic because I've been talking to myself a lot lately and praying more. And whatever you're going through, it's going to get easier. It's going to get better. You have to take time to process everything. You got to take time to be honest with yourself and to heal yourself and making choices for yourself that will enhance your quality of life. A lot of times we running around and we forget to take care of ourselves, and we got to remember that our life is a gift and we need to share our life, right? We're all meant here for a reason. We have unique gifts that need to be shared, and we need to appreciate the gift that God gave us, which is our life. And so in order to honor that, we need to take care of ourselves, and we need to be living our life to best that we can, and that is living our life to our purpose. And a lot of us don't know our purpose yet, and that's okay. That's why I created my company. Is like Journey Towards Self-Discovery. You'll learn every step of the way. You'll learn something new about yourself. Every version of yourself is going to be different. You may find through the process of change that you no longer like the same things. Food don't taste the same. Places don't seem the same. It's because you're changing, and that's how you become the person that you need to be, the process of change. So I'm going to just get on here and talk about this real quick because it is kind of sad. So trigger warning for anyone that can get upset. I am going to be talking about grief, right? And I think this is a perfect topic for me as Father's Day is coming up. And I think we need to speak about this more because I think a lot of times dealing with grief, people think that you're supposed to rush and get over it quickly. And sometimes it don't happen like that. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, dealing with grief and mental health. So the brief definition of grief is deep sorrow, especially that's caused by someone's death. And they also have a thing called prolonged grief, which is grief, but it affects your daily life and your daily routine as it's such. You don't want to get out of bed. It's hard for you to just do simple tasks as shower. You don't want to go to work. You feel no happiness or joy. And about they said 20 to 30% of the people that experience grief experience prolonged grief. 2.6 million deaths happen in the U.S. every year. So that leaves about 13 million grievers. A person dies every 15.2 minutes. That's 94.8 people a day. 15 to 20% people experience complicated grief, which is like kind of like prolonged grief. They can't adjust, they can't accept it. And then you'll also go through the stages of grief, which is shock, denial, anger, bargaining, which is like, did this really happen? It didn't really happen. You can't come to terms with what really happened. Depression, then finally acceptance and hope and processing. And then like if you already don't suffer from mental health disorders, some that can arise from experiencing grief is PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And I wanted to talk about this today. If you look at my page, so those people in my family know my dad got killed 28 years ago on Sunday. And I was 10, my siblings 14, 11, 10. One brother was 9, other one was 5 and 2, right? And you would think like 28 years, are you really over it? And for me, around this time every year is really tough, right? When it first happened, you're like, no, it didn't really happen. But then as the years go on, you come to terms. Even though it's been 28 years, I still feel the pain of not having my father here, as well as anyone else who has lost someone close to them. And as a grown woman now, because I was a little kid when it happened, 10 years old, and now as a grown woman, I still mourn the death of my father, even though it's been 28 years. And the pain never really goes away. And I think it's important to accept that. Like, it's okay to still carry that yearning for the person that you have lost. I don't think we ever really get over someone's death, especially if they're close to us. I think that we just learn how to like move on, because we have to live, we have to function, but them not being there really affects you as a whole. I know, like I've had my great uncle that's in my life, which I appreciate very much, that kind of took that father figure role, but it still doesn't fill the void that I feel not having my father here. And it's an unfortunate incident. And people say as time goes on, it gets better. I don't think it gets better, because you never really get over someone's death. I think we have to learn to cope with it. And I think it's really important that you have a good support system during this time of your grief, because you're going to go through periods where, like they said, you're angry, you're sad, you're upset. You may get angry at the person that had passed away, like, I can't believe you did this to me, right? And why? You ask yourself, question God. If you question God, like, why did you do this to me? And it's hard, and grief looks different for everyone. I think some people tell people to rush it and get over it. It happens. Yeah, it happens, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a right to feel and process not having this person anymore in our life. Like, we all know that we are born, and then eventually we're going to pass away. And whatever time that is, we have no idea. And I think that's the scary part. And I always speak and urge people to start living their life truly for their purpose, because we are here for a limited amount of time. We have no idea when our time is up, and at any moment it could be our last. And I think it's upsetting to know, like, especially if you come from a big family. Like, I come from a big family, and that, one of my siblings have to go first. And thinking about like the anniversary of my dad's death, and it happened on Father's Day of 1995. And it saddens me, especially this year. Some years I'm fine, but this year especially, it's been really heavy. I think we sit down there and we process all the time that we have had passed, and we didn't get to share it with this person. And also, even not just my dad's death, like I had my aunt that raised me passed away when I was 21, and I still miss her. I still miss her presence. I wish that I could have conversation with her. And for me, I believe that our ancestors can listen to us when we speak to them, but it never replaces the physical person here. And especially if your person, whether it's your mother, father, a sibling, children, grandparents, aunt, uncle, friends, spouse pass away, um, it still hurts. The pain still hurts, and you have to figure out in this process of how you're supposed to move on, like how. And I don't think people need to think about that, especially if it just happened just yet. I think you need to process the grief and knowing that it's okay to have the feelings that you're having. There is no right or wrong way to feel after you lose someone, especially someone close to you. You think about the times that y'all had together. You think about the times that you could have had together. Like, I think it really hurts when someone lost really quickly, early on. My father was 44 when he got killed, and I think the devastation it left on our family, even his siblings still mourn his death, right? And it was a lot of them too. So grief, it's different for everyone, but we all are grieving over the person that we lost. We want their presence, and one day somebody will be grieving us when we pass away, which is pretty sad, but it's just this a part of life that we all must go through. And I think the more that we talk about it, the more that we say how we feel. It's okay to be angry. Sometimes I'm still angry that I don't have a father here. I'm angry that my aunt passed away. Unfortunately, she passed away um, from natural causes, and there was nothing that I could do. So, yes, I do get angry. I want them here, but it's not my place to decide when people can say if we could live forever, will we want to live forever? So, I think it's important to know that if you're grieving someone, feel your emotions. Um, a lot of people that deal with grief, sometimes people shut out. They shut others off. They isolate themselves. Um, they start drinking heavy. They may overeat. They may not eat. They may use drugs. Like, you can't tell someone how to grieve because that's the only way they're finding peace right now. And maybe it's not great for them, in your opinion, but for them, they're just trying to process it. Again, everybody processes something different. I can't imagine like some of the devastation that I've seen that people have lost people. I only can experience my own grief and myself, and I think if you have that support, it can help you a long way. And for us, I think when we were younger, my mom tried to get us counseling, but it didn't go too long. And I think it's important that if you don't have the support around you, or even if you do, it's okay to reach out to grief counselors. That's what they're there for. Again, like I always say, when you do look for a counselor or a therapist, you need to make sure that you find one that fits you, right? You don't want someone that's not sympathetic and that don't have compassion, especially dealing with what you're dealing with. Some people will be like, okay, like it's enough time, it's time to get over it. Yeah, eventually you want to process your grief, and then eventually you want to start living life again. And that's why it's important to know yourself and check in with yourself, because if your grief extends for a longer period of time, you may need to get some help, because it's going to take over your life, and you won't be able to function. You won't be able to do things that bring you joy. We are allowed to sit in grief for as long as it takes for us to process it and to begin to heal. But when it's an extended amount of time, that's when you know that you need to go get some help. And that is quite all right. Like, it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I need help. And I urge people that if you have someone that has lost someone close to them, reach out to them for support. Sometimes they may need a listening ear. Sometimes they just want company. You can bring them dinner or lunch. Do something to help alleviate their pain. And I just wanted to talk about this because it was weighing heavy on my heart. I see a lot of people have passed away. I mean, people pass away all the time, but just down my timeline and watching videos and stuff, it's heart-wrenching that people don't know they have a safe place to process grief, and you do. You need to be able to process it so that you can heal. And go through all the stages. Go through them. Allow yourself to feel. I think for me, when my aunt passed away, I didn't heal properly because when she passed away, I had to hurry up and find somewhere to live. I was in the middle of college, just starting a semester, and once I found a place, it was hard for me to let her go because she was my comfort and she was a person that I could depend on. And now I had to do everything myself. And so not having her there for conversation and stuff, oh yeah, definitely, I definitely know how you feel. Not having a father there is definitely a hard way to process. And Uncle Milton just died, like a couple years ago, or last year. And it definitely is hard. It's hard when you lose people, but I think it's an eye opener for us. And everybody always say this, right? Everybody get together at like funerals and stuff, and we should be coming together as a family unit now before those things even happen. And that's a part of grieving as well. I don't want to just get together with family when someone passes away, or I don't want to just see them when someone passes away. I think we need to reach out to people. And yeah, granted, some people don't want to be bothered with, and I think it's important to know where your support is at. But it doesn't hurt to check in on each other to make sure each other is okay, especially if you know someone that has lost someone recently. Just see if they need anything. See if they need to talk to get it off their chest. Maybe go sit and go buy them a drink to alleviate some of the pain. It's hard, especially when you lose someone and you're processing it by yourself. Then you're stuck with all the thoughts that become in your head, and it's tough when you already suffer from mental health issues and someone passes away. Because if you suffer from mental health issues, and a lot of times we think about death like a lot, especially having panic and anxiety attacks. And so someone passes away, so now we're going to process it like, oh, am I next? Every ache and pain that we feel in our body, we're going to think the worst. So it's important to do a self-check, a health assessment with yourself, a mental health assessment, especially if you're already suffering from mental health issues and then now you're losing someone close to you. And then I'm going to throw this in there as well. People don't think that pets matter. Some people don't, but pets matter too, right? We process grief over pets as well, especially if you had your pet for like 15, 20 years. They're part of your family, and I think we need to appreciate that too. Like, I had a cat before the one I have now. I lost when he was 2 years old, and it was so hard for me to let him go because before that I didn't have my son, and so I thought it was just going to be me and my cat forever, and it was so hard. And then, I mean, a few months later, I did find out that I was pregnant with my son, which is ironic, but it's still hard. So processing grief looks different for everyone, and we should never feel ashamed for how we're feeling. Be angry, be upset, shout. If you find yourself getting extremely depressed and it's to the point where you can't eat and do simple tasks, please reach out and get the help that you need. There are services, families, we have to stick together. We got to get it together. We got to be there for people, and not just when grief happens, when we lose someone, but like when people going through depression, because life sometimes can be depressing, and people just need someone support, someone to talk to, someone to let them know that, hey, I'm thinking about you and I care. I think if we have more of a genuine heart and spirit, and more of a more being selfless attitude, that everybody will be able to function better. Now, there's no rushing process in dealing with grief. It helps when you have someone that you could turn to and say, hey, like, I'm dealing with such and such, I need someone to come over, or can we just go for a walk? Allow the person to grieve in the way that they need to. And it's sad because death happens every day. I just want people to realize that you don't have to experience it alone, and that I know what you're feeling. I don't know exactly what you're feeling, but I know how I feel processing grief. And this is still like I said, my father got killed 28 years ago on Sunday. And yeah, I can function. I'm a grown adult now. I'm almost 40, but the pain is still there. I don't think pain ever goes away. We just learn how to experience life in spite of it. We know that like for me, what gives me some peace and solitude is that I know that my ancestors' energies are around me whenever I need them. And if I need to cry, I cry. If I need to pray, I pray. But I know they're around me. I know that if I call out to them, that they will be here in spirit. No, it's not the same as being here physical, but just knowing that I have that someone is watching over me as I travel through this journey in life. And then one day, whatever you believe in, one day that I will get to meet them again. And I think when you have some type of plan and peace, it can alleviate some of that pain. It's not going to take all of it away. So for me, knowing that when my journey comes to an end, I will be reunited with those past loved ones. And I think that will help you give some peace. And that's if you believe in that such. And a lot of people believe in different things. And for me, having faith and having that belief system kind of keeps me at bay. And do I still go through the ups and downs dealing with grief? Yes, I do. I don't think, I think it depends on the time of year. Like this Father's Day is never a good time of year for me, right? And so around the month of June, it's really heavy on me. But I learned to know that about myself, and I allow myself to get the sleep that I need because I've been extra tired lately, been extra like sad, haven't been as active on social media like I'm used to. And for me, it's all a part of processing grief still. So this is 28 years later and I'm still processing grief. So it's okay. It could be 30, 40 years. It's okay to still yearn and miss that person. Don't let people tell you that you should be over it by now. Losing someone, you never truly get over it. And you said you just lost a pet. Yeah. Losing a pet is very sad. I can't even imagine, especially having them for a while. Seen so many videos of people that have lost pets and it's devastating. And I have a cat now, and the thought of losing him one day is pretty sad because I already lost one. So that's grief in itself. And again, like, it could be years from now and you still will miss that pet. You have pictures and videos probably of that pet, and you'll I think we miss the memories that we share with like our people and our animal friends. And I always say this, like, and then kind of to help, like, what we miss, God will replace. It's not the same, but God will replace what we need, right? For me, not having my father, again, my great uncle on my mom's side has been a father figure in my life for a long time. And so I appreciate that, right? My aunt raised me from the time I was 10 till she passed away when I was 21. I appreciate that I had her as that support, as an encouragement, as teaching me how to navigate through this world. So during your process of healing, you put things in a little different perspective, and that doesn't take away from your grieving process. That's just allowing you to have some peace. And there are days when I'm okay, and some days I still cry and yearn for my dad and my aunt, and that is okay. And I think you need to be okay with yourself. I think you need to not be hard on yourself for still crying, even if it's been years of missing the person, especially the anniversary of their death or their birthday, the holidays, thinking about the things that they have missed since they passed on. That is okay, and I just want you to know that. I want you to get the help that you need. If you need the help, especially if it's prolonged grief, there's nothing wrong with that as well, because when you lose something in your life and you're used to having it, there's going to be a void there. And you may try to find things to replace that void. And going through the healing process, this is why I talk about meditation and prayer all the time. Going through the healing process, you'll learn how to cope with it. And then that void, no, it can never be replaced. So your mind is going to have to change to processing something different, right? That void is not going to be able to be replaced. But other things will come into your life that will help alleviate the pain and the pressure of that void, if that makes sense. That person, that pet, their memory will never be erased. Nothing can replace them. It's just that I believe that life in general will give you what you need and help fill some space in your heart and allow some room for love and for comfort and for affection from someone else. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's really hard to speak about this, but it needed to be said. I want everyone to know that whatever way you choose to process your grief, don't allow someone to come in and say, oh, you need to be doing this and that. Don't allow someone to rush your grieving process. Don't allow someone to enter your space with negativity and dishonor about the person that you have lost. We don't know someone's story. We don't know someone's life. Like, yes, we all lost someone that we probably all connected with, right? Like, let's say you lost a family member. Maybe some family members don't like the person that passed away, but you were really close to them. Don't allow that person's negativity to influence your pain and your grief process. Don't feed into that. Your experience with this person is different from them. And so you're going to process your pain and your suffering and your grief differently than them. And don't let them tell you that you cannot do that. And if you find yourself surrounded by people that are talking negatively in your time of hurt, then remove yourself from those group of people. And if you need a new group of people, or if you need the support and you don't have it, reach out to someone. Facebook got groups now. They have grief counselors. You gotta make sure that you're okay, even while you're grieving, right? We need to make sure that you're eating. We need to make sure that you're checking in with yourself daily. It's okay to cry, right? When my aunt passed away, I'm almost finished. I'm going to finish up. When my aunt passed away, I cried every day for months after she passed away. I was I was in the middle of going to college, and after your bereavement period's up at work, so I started back work. I used to cry every night on the bus going home after she passed away. And I feel like I had to move quickly because she passed away. I had to find an apartment. I was in middle school. I didn't get a chance to grieve her. And then, like, a year or two later, I started drinking heavy to process the grief. That was my way of easing the pain. And then I had to come to terms with it, that it was okay, that I missed the person that raised me. So I said all of that to say this, is that if you're going through a period of losing someone or a pet, and you feel devastated, and that's okay, because you're supposed to feel like that. You feel lost. You feel like, why me? You feel like blaming. That's okay to go through those emotions, because even though 28 years ago, almost, that I lost my father, I still ask the question, why? Why did this have to happen to us? And there's no answer. There's no explanation. It's something that we all have to deal with, like experiencing grief. And even now, the way that I deal with it is the way that I deal with it. Like, I cry and I meditate, and what gives me some peace, because I learned how to process a little different, is that I know that they are watching over me. I know that their energy is with me, and it keeps me feeling some sense of security. So whatever way that you choose to process your grief, go through the emotions, go through the pain, go through the hurt. And if you feel like you are getting so deep in your pain that you don't see a way out, please go get the help that you need, because although you lost the person or pet that you lost, we still need you here. You have purpose, and your time is not up yet, and we need you to live your life and create those memories, because those people that we lost, they want us to create and to live life and to make them proud, and have them smiling down on us, because they want us to live. That, yeah, they want to be here with us, but they couldn't no longer. And so when you get to that point where you can say that, and this is important, take every day as it comes, because some days you're going to be high functioning, right? And some days you're not. So you take each day as it comes, and don't beat yourself up if you did not get everything done on that to-do list. Make time for yourself. Make time for yourself to grieve, and be okay with not being okay all the time, right? That's as much as I was going to give to y'all. I hope that you found some comfort in the words that I am saying. I know how it feels to lose someone, to lose a pet. The pain don't never go away. I think we go through life and we experience life, and then some periods will stop us, like the period of Father's Day stops me, and then you kind of sit back and reflect, and then I continue on with my life, but knowing that I still carry the love that I have for my father, my aunt, my pet, and my grandparents in my heart, knowing that I have ancestors to watch over me, brings me some comfort, right? But it still is not easy. It doesn't get easier. I just know that I have to live in spite of the pain I feel from not having them, because I know that my purpose here is not done yet. I know that I have a lot of living left to do, and so do you. Your purpose is not done despite of what you're going through, and I know that it's hurt right now. I know that you're feeling pain right now. I know that you feel like there's no way out, that how can you move on? And if you pray often, if you meditate often, God, whatever you believe in, universe, or ancestors will give you the strength that you need in due time. But please take care of yourself. Please allow yourself to feel. Please know that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling right now. Right? So that's as much as I have for you. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you feel like someone may benefit from watching this or listening, please share. Don't forget to follow me here on Facebook, BYC Become Your C, or Christina McIntyre. Follow me on Instagram, Become Your C. TikTok, BYC Become Your C. YouTube, BYC Become Your C. And also visit my website, www.becomeyourc.com. If you're interested about learning about the chakras, the holistic approach to mental health, because my goal is to help you unlock your true identity. That's through healing, that's through learning about your inner self, that's through experiencing life, that's through processing yourself, processing your thought process, processing the energy that you have, knowing that you have every right to be here, that you're worthy and you're valuable, you got purpose, and you got gifts inside of you that are unique to you, that no one can take that from you. And that's what I urge people to do. So if you're suffering from anything, if you want to talk about mental health, if you need just some advice in general, or you need someone support, feel free to message me and reach out. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Just know that you are loved, and that you have people here, you have people above that is there with you every step of the way, and that anytime you feel alone, and I'm learning about this a lot lately, anytime you feel alone, get on your knees and pray, meditate, and just cry out, and you will find comfort in the embrace. I call it the embrace of the wind, because anytime I feel that I need that support from above, all I gotta do is reach out my hand. So stay committed to yourself, take care of yourself, love on yourself, and fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you. Until next time.